Hello there, friends, in my sleeveless t-shirt today, and you'll see why. You would be amazed at, if you spend any amount of time on Twitter and you're engaging in the comments, of just how many people have a similar mentality. And the mentality that I'm talking about today is migrating their employee beliefs into setting up their own business. And it's very difficult to escape because it is actually conditioned and imprinted in us from a really, really early age. And the reason I call this video "It's Not a Job" is that you get to decide what you wear, what time you do particular tasks, whether you do them in small chunks or big blocks, if you divide up your day into various things or you're more spontaneous. You get to decide. And getting rid of the vestiges of, lunchtime has to be at this time and you have to wait for your other colleagues, to ask for holiday or just to kind of get up and go to the toilet. There are certain places that people work that are fantastically unpleasant. And I think I was really lucky, I have to say, to grow up in the time that I did. I was born in the very, very early 80s and then went to school during, and this is controversial, but for some people at least, but during the Thatcherite era when there was definitely a lot more social cohesion and a lot more structure, I would say. Yes, every single politician fucks things up. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I learnt recently that when you're paying your electricity bills, that the people that you're paying are not the ones that are actually providing you with the electricity or the energy of any kind. They're just basically financial brokers, and they're credit brokers. And apparently that was something that Margaret Thatcher brought in, or the Thatcher government brought in. So, it's all a bit of a mess. But the employee mindset is primarily concerned with permission, okay? But when you're an entrepreneur, you get to decide the conditions. And this can go for anything in your life. I mean, I'm blessed. I don't have a regular job at the moment. Haven't done so for a little while. And I do get to decide what my day looks like. But I have to bring the structure, and you have to have a certain degree of intelligence, a certain degree of skill and experience to do that. Because the reality is, and as harsh as it sounds, it's not that I'm being judgmental, but the vast majority of people are never going to be entrepreneurs because they're not cut out for it, and it's not necessarily the thing for them. I 100% believe that everybody has their place, their function, their contribution, whatever you want to call it. But it's only ever a really small group of people that succeed at doing their own thing. But I record this video often when I get in. I will change into this shirt if it makes me feel a bit more comfortable or whatever. But I get to decide. I have the freedom to be able to do that. And I think that if you indulge your time, it's why I talk actually, not necessarily so much on these videos, but particularly on my Twitter when I'm sending out my tweets, I talk about going for the coffee in the coffee shop that you always walk past, or buying something small that makes you smile. Like, for example, I've got these candles lit. And you might have noticed that I did a video last night where you saw that plant and it was a different view. I'm psychologically testing you to see if you notice my palm plant. But those little things, inject those little things into your life. People say, don't eat that kind of food, or don't go there, or whatever. And it's all censorship, or always ban things and get rid of things. No, you need to have the balance in your life. And I have to say, for the last few days, I have felt so energized by the things that I'm doing, and reading again, playing the piano more, and that you will have seen in last night's video. All of these things are ways of peppering your life with pleasure. And when you are setting out on being an entrepreneur, you don't have to start work at 9 o'clock. You might be the most productive in the late afternoon or the early evening. You might want to go out for a walk at a particular kind of time. You, as an individual, have your own natural rhythm, you have your own pace, and you have your own preferences. Really important to remember this and to remind yourself, because when you are in employment, no matter how much you enjoy it, there is going to be a certain degree of people breathing down your neck, telling you what you have to get done, what you have to do at this time, so it works with everybody else. And that can work, and you'll get various degrees of not having your say, various degrees of giving up your autonomy. But being an entrepreneur is not a job. It is a calling. It is a mission. It is the opportunity to be able to do your own thing. And I'm sure that some of you on this channel have thought about starting up your own business, and some of you will throw yourselves in completely. Maybe you've got savings from your job. Maybe you've got some independent income that you can use to float you for a while. Or maybe you're doing your own thing whilst having a full-time job, having a family. I'm in a completely different position from you. And I find that now that I'm just basically listening to me, listening to my body, and just accepting that, well, this particular task, yes, the perfect plan, the ideal plan would have me doing it at this time, but I don't feel like doing it at that time. I feel like doing it at another time from what I think that I want. So make it as easy as possible, because it's not easy and it takes time. So you have to create the conditions in order that you get the work done, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that actually matters, is ticking things off the list. And if you just allow yourself to be the person that you are, rather than the person that you believe that you should mold yourself into being, because things change over time as well. Growth is exponential, and at one point you might want to do a particular task in the afternoon. You may switch to doing it in the morning or in the night, or whatever it is. That stuff doesn't matter as much as you think that it is, as it does. But I always remember, and I don't know if I paraphrased or was inspired by this phrase, or I actually heard it verbatim from this particular person, but I used to watch a lot of Tim Ferriss, who wrote the 4-Hour Workweek. And from the time that I was religiously watching him, he said the imperfect plan that you will stick to is infinitely superior to the perfect plan that you won't do. So it's why I talk in my tweets quite a lot of embracing the mess, of embracing the fluidity and the flexibility of it all. And ultimately, at the end of the day, having the satisfaction and feeling of accomplishment by having done the work. That is what counts. And you are the boss, you are in the driving seat, and you get to dictate and decide on the direction of travel.